Well, how you doing, YouTube? Oh gosh, how you doing? Now is our segment to talk about everyone's favorite subject, fascists. Yay! Hey, did you know fascists were socialists? I heard a PragerU video say that. They called themselves socialists, and because I'm a fucking moron, I'm going to agree with them. I'm going to ignore their policies. I'm going to ignore their manifestos. I'm going to ignore everything about them. But they called themselves socialists. Gotcha! Gotcha, socialists. Trying to make the world a better place, huh? Yeah, well, you're just fascists. That's what you are. So anyway, about the second January 6th that we want to do. Can't wait to do another January 6th. Those leftists sure are fascist. I wanted to read this. It's not a very large article. It's so painful. Quick double tap. GMO bananas are bussin'. That's a new sentence. Yeah, Husky Canvas. Follow my 3-step. If you are unsure what to do, follow my 3-step program to create political change. Instant purpose to your life. Instant purpose. No, I'm going to read this entire article here because we are under attack. We are under attack. Our democracy is under attack, but as individuals, our liberty is under attack. Now, the neoliberal corporatists, are they great? Are they helping liberty? No. Are they actively trying to dismantle democracy so that they can stay in power? No. There is a very clear difference between corporatist neoliberals and their failures to govern and fascistic authoritarian right-wingers that are stopping at nothing to acquire and keep power. Republicans are actively changing our laws so they can stay in power permanently. There is a difference. Okay? Let me just make that perfectly clear. So let me read this article. Blow it up here so you can read it too. As quiet as it goes. Give me one notch on that. I just want a little background. There we go. Let's turn it down in my ears here. There we go. All right, here we go. What is this? Why is it over here? Ugh. Oh, it's off center. Oh my God. Okay, here we go. Yes, thank you. Okay. There can be no saving the Republican Party. And this is important because there are a lot of neoliberal Nancy Pelosi types that are talking about how we need a strong Republican Party to function as a nation. There's no saving these fascists. It's over. The mask is off. There's no more putting the genie back in the bottle. They've made their goals clear. They either die out like the Whigs or they take over our country. While the summer of indictments may stoke the hopes that our long national nightmare might be ended through judicial means, we should be realistic. The pathway to moving on from America's MAGA mistake can and must be realized through democratic means. We shouldn't pretend in any event that Trumpism and MAGA might, I think we got a typo here, and MAGA might be blinked from existence. But discrediting its political future will take resounding losses to Democrat candidates in 2024. Voters of differing political beliefs must form unlikely but necessary alliances to ensure that Republicans suffer vast defeats at the polls next year, up and down the ballot. This is classic neoliberal thinking when it comes to voting, right? This was Hillary's idea. I'm going to convert a bunch of conservatives and right-wingers to vote to vote for me. That's my strategy. I'm going to go get the rich Republican who doesn't like Trump making a fool of himself, right? And does, oh, that's not me, so I'm going to vote for Hillary. That was her strategy. So I don't like this idea of necessary alliances. You know who the people who say that are? The people that tell us why we got to vote for Joe Manchin. Right? So I disagree with this. Is this a daunting task? Not unduly. Numerous such alliances have occurred in our youthful 243-year-old republic. But the doing so won't just be critical for our short-term electoral circumstances. It is the necessary first step in our nation's healing and reconciliation. And just as the Union did in the aftermath of Appomattox, those on the winning side who've gathered on the correct side of history will need to lead civic and communal renewals. For those who don't know, Appomattox is the location where the Civil War surrender, where the surrender of the South happened. I believe that's correct. I realize and respect that a not small number of Democrats, Trump-disdaining Republicans, and purple-leaning voters might recoil at such a message. Yeah, they're not going to do it. They never do it. This can't we all just get along, reach across the aisle, phone a friend bullshit never flies in modern politics. Especially given the fact that I've already renounced Trump and MAGA myself. But if a great nation deserves the truth tellers should have the necessary courage to pursue reconciliation. Seeing how much of this is left. This will take some forbearance. MAGA voters need to be shown that the vast majority of the elected officials and pundits they've followed have failed them, lied to them, mocked them privately, incessantly insulted their intelligence. This will never work. Why am I reading this? This is terrible. Who wrote this? Rich Lugus. Logus. This is never going to happen. Really? You're going to meet a political partisan that admits they're wrong? Cool. I also farm unicorns. I have a big unicorn farm. All day. Most of all, however, they've been traumatized into believing parallel existences full of hysteria, phobias, and paranoia. But these voters aren't beyond redemption. For the most part, they are good and decent people who didn't deserve to be dehumanized by the hands of the GOP. Here's the GOP telling us exactly who they are, and here are the voters who are saying, yes, that's exactly what I want. But the poor conservative voter who wants to fuck over everybody, for the sake of selfishness, to give tax breaks to the rich that they don't even take advantage of, the constituents of the GOP. Oh, poor GOP voters. The ones that literally think January 6th is awesome. Okay, fuck, I am done with this. I'm sorry. I thought that was an article of substance. I should have read that more carefully before reading it. I should have read it. I should have proofread it more carefully before reading it out to you. Unicorn Farm. You do have quite a few good points. Thank you. Quick double tap. That's no, this idea, we're not converting right-wing partisans. At best, when Trump dies or is finally thrown in jail, the ultra MAGAs will go back to sleep and refuse to participate in politics. They're not going to start voting for Democrats. You fucking crazy people. You Hillary weirdos. You're not converting ultra MAGA partisans into Democrats. It's not fucking happening. You know what the strategy needs to be? Get out the vote, expand the vote, talk to people who are not voting. The hundreds of millions of people that have completely checked out of this process. You got to reach out to them, but you also need to give them something to vote for. They checked out for a reason, Jack. right? And you losing abortion doesn't help the matter. No, let's waste our time going into the reddest of red areas and having heart-to-heart conversations with ultra MAGAs and convince them to vote for Democrats. It's not gonna work. All right, moving on to another fascist du jour, Matt Gaetz, who I believe is actually one of the most dangerous people who are potentially in line to replace Trump whenever Trump kicks the bucket. I agree with the author and Vlad Vexler that we are eventually going to need to take even MAGA back inside of us or democracy to survive. No. I mean, MAGA, ultra MAGA is a minority of the right-wing voting populace. No, our democracy will survive just fine when they check out of the system. When they check out, when their authoritarian cult of personality is finally usurped in one way or another. Unless he wins, what we have to worry about is individuals like Matt Gaetz trying to keep that flame alive. And I think Matt Gaetz is probably one of the more clever and villainous individuals who might do that. Matt Gaetz admits Biden impeachments is really about helping Republicans in 2024. So I'm not going to waste time reading this article. He's basically saying that the whole purpose, so right here, quote, the purpose of that impeachment from my standpoint is not to force votes that loses, he said during a Twitter space on Monday night. It's to put on a trial in the Senate, and by the way, not for the sake of conviction. So it's a show trial. It's a show trial made so that Joe Biden looks bad. So we don't have proof, we don't have evidence. We're going to make a mockery of the justice system and the investigative powers of Congress and the Senate. I'm going to make a mockery of all this, and it's just pure cynical politics to make Joe Biden look bad. I mean, does it even work? Right? With all the news about the Trump investigations, is anyone going to pay attention to a theatric performance by Matt Gaetz? I mean, I know Fox News and OAN are going to run it a couple times, but even they're not going to ignore the Trump trial. At best, this will be a couple week distraction, and then everyone will get back to the real news. But just wanted to point it out. Matt Gaetz, totally comfortable. He thinks other people are going to find him clever and smart because here he is cynically weaponizing our Justice Department and the like I said, the investigative ability of our elected officials, just making a total mockery of all of this for his own cold political, game that he's playing, and he's happy to admit it. He's like, yeah. I don't have proof. Let's just make Joe Biden look bad. Come on, guys, let's go MAGA. Democracy is still about understanding that we Americans disagree. Most are still part of the U.S. I mean, Clutch Cargo, here's the thing, is that the left-wingers, they do need to formulate policies that include the GOP. They can't just ignore the GOP. But this idea that, I mean, Clutch Cargo, you're not a stupid person. And I think you're not a young person either. Do you really think it's viable for the neoliberal Democratic Party to spend hundreds of millions of dollars going into red areas trying to convert MAGA people into voting Democrat? Do you really think that's a wise use of funds? Wouldn't it make more sense to spend that money on getting out the vote, getting non-voters participating? Right? Going into lefty areas or maybe lefty friendly areas where there's a bunch of people that aren't registered to vote and getting them registered to vote and say, hey, this AOC is running for president. She wants single payer health care. She wants this. She wants that. The author wasn't suggesting that. All right. Okay. All right. Well, I didn't read the whole article. I was kind of fucking sick of it, obviously. So fair enough, Clutch Cargo. Fair enough. We need to be talking to everyone. I disagree. I think it's a complete fucking waste of time for a political party, for the neoliberal Democratic Party to waste money. I mean, here's the thing. They shouldn't waste money trying to get out the vote, but they need to do speeches. They need to make themselves a presence, right? They need to be going to the fucking hog fair, right, in Kentucky. The blue Democrat needs to be going there and saying, look, I know you hate me. I know you're filled with a lot of hate for me. I know there's a lot of lies about me being told. But I came here to tell you face to face, eye to eye, they're wrong, they're lying about me, and here's what I want to actually do for you. The left does not do that. Famously, Hillary Clinton didn't go into Wisconsin and a bunch of other places. But I do agree that left-wing neoliberal Democrats or progressive Democrats, progressive politicians in general, even if you're not a Democrat, Democratic Socialist or whatever, they do need to go into those beat red hog farm events and make those speeches that they often don't. Should they spend millions of dollars trying to convert those people to vote for them and pretend like that's some kind of viable strategy? No. And Hillary proved it. Hillary proved it's a fool's errand. So I kind of agree and disagree with you at the same time, because yes, of course, the neoliberals can't be ignoring major swaths of the fucking population, but we also can't allow them to become the anchor that they want to be against progress. We can't let them be victorious in their goal to block us. And if we're throwing hundreds of millions of dollars trying to convert them into Democrats, I feel like that's a pretty successful on their end to stymie progressive progress on how we approach reconciliation after MAGA is electorally defeated. Well, all right. I mean, we certainly, a president of the United States has to govern for the United States, not just the left wing or right wing regions. Clip it and share the message. You go for it, Husky. I appreciate that. So I do agree. A president of the United States has to govern for everyone in the United States. And you know it's a great way to reach across the aisle? Passing progressive legislation that gives people single payer health care, that gives their kids a college education, and then going to beat red Kentucky during the hog fair and being like, yeah, I see, I just looking at the statistics, it looks like 3 million Kentuckians just signed up for the single payer health care that I just provided. That's right. This left winger that you all hate just gave you all single payer health care. What do you think about that? You're really going to boo me for that one? They would. Of course they would. But I do agree. I do agree that neoliberal left-wing politicians are often totally ignoring the right across the board. And some places it doesn't make any sense to throw away money. Other places, yeah, you have to be a govern. You have to govern for the entire nation. And that makes you look good as well. So it's complicated. It's complicated. All right, moving on to everyone's favorite little whiny pouty boy. Oh, poor DeSantis. DeSanctimonious, as he's called. So just a few hours after Ron DeSantis announced that he's over it, he wants to move on with Disney. Disney announced new charges, new damages. So listen to this. Disney has issued a new court filing seeking new damages against Ron DeSantis administration, accusing them of breach of contract. They did this only hours after DeSantis asked them to drop the lawsuit, saying he wanted to move on. I'm not applauding the fucking mouse. I'm not doing that. What are we doing? I mean, talk about let them fight, right? Let's just let them fight. How about we just let them fight and destroy each other? Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, look, it's Disney. I'm not going to sit here and praise Disney for its control over the Florida state government. I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, that's a good thing. But I'm not gonna ignore how funny it is that this little tyrant, this little torturer, by the way, torturer at Abu Ghraib, if you weren't aware, he was a torturer at Abu Ghraib. So this little, don't you just want to pinch his little, I don't know what you'd call it. Those aren't cheeks. What's up with these billions of dollars missing? Meatball Ron thought it was a good idea. Kick Mickey Mouse in the nuts. Yeah. Oh boy, Ron DeSantis. Hey, I see you trying to kick me in the nuts, buddy. Watch me fuck over your state. I'm gonna pull more money out of your constituents. You can't even understand what I'm saying. All right, so moving on from the Disney debacle for Ron DeSantis, there is other Ron DeSantis news. So now there's a video surfaced of Ron DeSantis pushing for GOP state legislators to overturn the 2020 race for Trump. Whoop. This actually would have been more embarrassing for DeSantis had he been following the strategy that I think he should have been following, which is like a clear separation from Trump, you know, basically saying I'm all the best parts of Trump except without none of the drama. You know, a vote for me is basically a vote for all the things you love about Trump except for all the bullshit. I haven't seen a poll where Vivek is winning over him. I have seen a poll where Chris Christie is 1 point ahead of Ron DeSantis, but I haven't seen a poll where Vivek is ahead of DeSantis. But was there one yesterday that I missed? Maybe. So video shows DeSantis pushing for GOP state legislators to overturn 2020 race. DeSantis pushed an aspect of the independent legislative theory, a fringe legal idea the Supreme Court has rejected. Yeah. Republicans love these fringe ideas that just so happen to give them complete and total control. But don't worry, guys. They're not a danger to democracy. I have Trump derangement syndrome, and I just can't stop thinking about Trump. And this is why. What is this? Hell of a link. That is a hell of a link. What is this? DeSantis campaign is circling the bull. It kind of is. It kind of is. Yeah. Normally I'd be like, that's a little hyperbolic, you know, I don't know. Circling the drain, right? But no, it's there. I hear a flushing sound. I do. A video clip of Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis from 2.5 years ago has resurfaced and is being shared on social media, in which the 2024 presidential candidate suggested using a discredited legal theory in order to overturn the results of the 2020 election to help then President Donald Trump remain in office. Well, basically, he was kind of doing the same thing that Roger Stone was doing. Oh, well, we're not talking about Social Security right now. We're talking about fascists. But thank you, Husky, for that link. In the video, DeSantis discusses possible remedies to help Trump win the 2020 election, even after most media outlets at the time, including Fox, the cable news station where the interview took place, had already called the election for President Joe Biden. DeSantis suggests utilizing an aspect of the fringe right-wing independent legislature theory, which posits in part that state legislators are the sole deciders of how electors are chosen to represent states in the Electoral College. So we've actually seen this theory in action already. We're seeing, I can't remember where. It was only last week that I was reporting on this, but they're trying to set this up so that they can say, Oh, we detected fraud. You know, oh, we did our own independent analysis and we detected fraud. So because we detect fraud in our elections, we get to nullify the results locally at a state level, and we're going to send our own people, our own partisans that agree with us, that are going to vote our way to represent, right? So you're going to be in your state, you're going to vote some 300-pound, most likely, man is going to throw your vote in the trash, then send his buddy to go tell the federal government how you voted. This is a plan that is supported and has been talked about by Steve Bannon for years. This is why we see all these school board meetings being invaded by insane people. We see all these local government meetings being brigaded and you know, taken over by these crazy folks who just, where did you come from? What are you talking about? Jewish space lasers and, you know, LGBTQ people trying to groom your children in class. You know, in a local government meeting where like a LGBTQ person has never lived in their town, and all of a sudden they care about gay people in my school touching my kids. Where did they come from? This is what I'm talking about, and how liberals need to put in the work. Okay? For every liberal on social media jerking off and wasting their time, you know, hashtagging and, you know, and like, you know, quote tweeting and like getting a lot of engagement, but not voting and not participating, for every one of those people, there's like 5 right-wingers that are proudly voting and proudly donating and proudly participating in whatever fucking movement that they've chosen, and they're showing up and they're marching and they're donating. Who do you think's getting more done? Who do you think's getting more done to create change at a local government level? The left or the right? The Florida governor also encourages viewers in states Trump lost to President Joe Biden to pressure their state legislatures to utilize this theory. Beyond undemocratic. Oh, we don't like the results, so change them. Quote, if you're in those states that have Republican legislatures like Pennsylvania and Michigan, this is from the video, and all these places, call your state representatives and your state senators, DeSantis said in the clip. Under Article 2 of the Constitution, presidential electors are done by the legislatures and the schemes they create. Right? So the local state government has a right to change their laws so that no matter who, no matter what you vote for, right? Does not matter. It's if the state legislature is run by right-wingers, we're going to guess who won that election? Guess who won that election? You think I'm lying? You think I'm playing? You think they're not going to do this? Well, go ahead and leave in a huff, and then come on back when it's already happening, but it's not happening enough for people to start paying attention, right? When the next presidential election, this is gonna these laws that they've been passing and implementing and playtesting are going to be a major part of the story. The election results are going to be all fucked up because of stuff like this. You know, the popular vote and the electoral college vote will be one thing, and then magically in between the time that people vote and then that whatever happens at the federal level, votes changed. It's actually Republicans. You actually voted for Republicans. Didn't you know that? This is going to be a major story in the 2024 presidential elections. I guarantee it. There's no dodging this. There's no dodging this. This is a direct assault to our democracy. It's a time bomb ready to go off. No, not a time bomb. It's more of like a minefield. It's a minefield. Because we're not going to know it's there until we've stepped on it. And then America's going to start waking up when these minds start going off. And they're like, oh my God, there's no democracy in Kentucky. There's no democracy in Texas. There's no democracy in Alabama. There's no democracy in Arizona. Boom, boom, boom. Wait a minute. According to the vote, Arizona's supposed to have, 2 or 3 electoral votes for Joe Biden. How did those get switched over to Trump or whoever's running? Wait a minute. The votes said this, but the results are totally different. When did that happen? It's all legal, folks. It's all legal. And what's MSNBC going to do? MSNBC is going to cover every minute of it. And it's going to change nothing. They're just going to be sitting there in silence. Well, I guess the Republicans won. It's the popular vote, okay, but the Electoral College vote was this. It should, but I guess all those things that the neoliberals promised that they were going to do and then didn't do actually affected our democracy. When they let right wingers, just the Democrats could have passed the Voting Rights Act. They could have passed the Voting Rights Act, and all of this would have been, not all of it, but a lot of it would have been by the wayside. Yeah. Bill Hicks heard the pigeons. They were going coo, coo, coo. What? Bill Hicks can't. What? Bill Hicks can't do a pun? Oh, shut up. Bill Hicks will tell you some dick jokes in a minute. Okay. Oh, the right wingers aren't authoritarian fascists, huh? Here's Panda Man right on cue. What's your fucking excuse for this one, Panda Man? Do you agree? Panda Man loves DeSantis, by the way. Won't stop fucking Oscar Mayering his wiener in the Discord. What do you say about this statement, Panda Man?
So we are going to authorize the use of deadly force against the cartel.
So this is talking about immigration across the borders. This is a discussion about illegal immigration, people crossing the United States border illegally.
So we are going to authorize the use of deadly force against the cartels. If you have somebody coming in with the fentanyl in the backpack, they even break through the border wall where there is wall. If they're doing that, that's the last thing they're going to be able to do, because we're going to leave them stone cold dead at the border. We're not putting up with it anymore.
So do you agree with that statement, Panda Man? That illegal immigrants, men, women, and children should be shot on sight? I hope you're being ironic, Husky. How does a police officer who hasn't done an investigation, who's just shooting people in the desert, how does that police officer know for certain that the person that they just murdered is a cartel member? Husky Canvas. So if I'm a cop and I kill somebody without fentanyl, the only thing I need to do is put some fentanyl on them for you to be happy? Then that's cool. I shoot a mother in the back as she's running away from me. She doesn't have any fentanyl on her. I put a little bit of fentanyl on her and it's all good? Good job, Border Patrol? Really? Is that what you really think? And I'm asking the same question to Panda Man as well. You believe our cops should be allowed, our border police should be allowed to shoot people, murder them dead in the street. So Panda Man, we're not talking about the stereotype that you just described. Some gang member wandering around the border looking for trouble. Talking about usually it's a family. Man, woman, couple kids. Fair, but. So I'm talking about cops murdering people without an investigation. And you go, but. What are the odds of that happening, though? It literally already happens. Have you ever heard of the Minutemen? Husky, you ever heard of the Minutemen? The deputized right-wingers that were told to patrol the border and immediately started killing people? It literally already happens. You fucking monster. You ignorant fool. Well, look it up. Look it up. Look it up before you support extrajudicial killings of innocent people. And yeah, I know they technically broke a law by crossing a border. That does not give you or anyone else the right to fucking murder them. You fucking monster. So that's law enforcement to you? I think they're a gang member. That's law and order to you? What a joke. Shameful. Utterly shameful that you would even admit that. The fucking Punisher would disagree with you. Last little bit here, I wanted to include a newcomer to the fascist roundup. We got a new one, Vivek. Vivek is a newcomer to the right-wing magosphere who is eager to destroy our country for the sake of his extremist constituency. During Jim Acosta over here, who is a pathetic hack, during my interview with Ramaswamy, his name is Vivek Ramaswamy, he reiterated his position that he would allow Putin to keep parts of Ukraine. Smart, man. So he agrees with appeasing dictators. All right. Block Ukraine from joining NATO. Okay. So he agrees that he's actually in, he disagrees with the United States military industrial complex. Smart move for a U.S. politician. I mean, if he was liberal, I'd love it, right? Yeah, we should put NATO under a microscope. Oh, that sounds like a left-wing position almost. And even visit Putin in Moscow. The GOP contender added, our goal should not be for Putin to lose. If this was pre-invasion, if this was pre-Ukrainian invasion, okay, let's have a conversation. After invasion? After Bucha? After Odessa? After Kherson? After Bakhmut? These are the words of appeasement. These are the words of a loser and a coward who would, you know, rub the belly of an authoritarian before pushing back. Oh, well, ooh. Oh, you're scary, Putin. Ooh. Yeah, I think we should agree with your nuclear blackmail because I'm a puss. Ooh. I'm scared. This is the Republican Party. This is the Republican Party. This guy's supposed to be an up-and-comer. This guy's supposed to be the, you know, the hot new face. Hot new face of what? Wilt Chamberlain, William Chamberlain. What the fuck is his name? Goddamn. Fuck's his name? Neville Chamberlain. Is that the face of the new Republican Party? Thank you, Oculus. I know it must be unbelievably annoying to watch me. Like, hey, Stoner, this is the name. But no, is that the face of the Republican Party? Fucking Neville Chamberlain? What it seems like to me. Bunch of appeasers. Listen to this. Listen to this slop. 2 minutes of fucking slop from a joke. This ain't gonna get him votes. You think Ultra MAGA honestly cares about Ukraine? It's little more than a talking point to the Ultra MAGA. Oh, and we're spending so much money in Ukraine. Like I give a shit. They don't fucking care about Ukraine. It's just a handy little talking point that they like to throw around as a gotcha. You know what they actually care about? I don't fucking know. What do they actually care about? I mean, the same thing that everyone else cares about, but okay, anyway. What does it? I mean, you know, line up 10 ultra MAGAs and ask them what their number one priority is. You'll get a fucking JFK resurrection, kitty litter, fucking the MAGA woke are trying to teach my kid about Harriet Tubman. Who knows?
And you've also suggested that Vladimir Putin be allowed to keep parts of Ukraine as part of a way to solve that conflict. What if he wants parts of Poland?
You leave
next?
out the most important part of that deal.
More of Ukraine next.
Aren't
you letting some of these authoritarian leaders off the
what
hook?
actually advances? Far from it. I think that the Biden administration is so stubbornly attached to the idea of getting Xi Jinping to drop Vladimir Putin. What I think we need to be doing is get Vladimir Putin to drop Xi Jinping. Just like Nixon went to China in 1972, I think Putin is like the new Mao. I will visit Moscow, and I will pull Russia out of its military alliance with China. The Russia-China military alliance is the single greatest military threat that we face today. Hypersonic missile capabilities.
So that's what Putin's waiting for. He's waiting for the right slick Willie to come by and just convince him to clean up his act and get on with the progress. He's just waiting for that tap on the shoulder to do the right thing, huh? And Vivek's the one to do it. It's so obvious. It's so obvious, guys. Putin just wants the right guy to talk to. I mean, come on. You know, he's an honest actor.
These nuclear capabilities in Russia, far ahead of us or China. A naval capacity in China ahead.
The fuck it does. The fuck it does. And now it's really, this guy's an American politician. No shit. No shit.
Threat that we face today. Hypersonic missile capabilities, nuclear capabilities in Russia, far ahead of us or China.
Where are these wonder weapons, Vivek? Because all I've seen fly into the capital of Kyiv is fucking antiques from the Cold War. I'm supposed to be worried about Russia's military capabilities, Vivek? Really? Really? Oh, wow, honey. Just drop it. It's such a slam dunk for Joe Biden that they have no choice but to be like on the other side of it. But they got nothing. They got nothing for this.
A naval capacity in China ahead of ours, combined with an economy that we depend on for our modern...
The naval capacity of China ahead of the U.S. Navy. Gonna have to ask for a source, Vivek. Got any supplementary information about how that is? What? China's Navy more superior than the United States Navy. How many battleships does China have? Less than 20 or something? Be afraid, be afraid, be afraid. Capitulate, capitulate, capitulate. That's the message. That's the loser-ass message from the Republican goddamn party. You better give up now. Boy, they're the ultrasonic missiles that'll blow up the White House. And, you better watch out for the Chinese fucking Navy. Yeah, you better watch out, Miami. Watch out, San Francisco. Get the Chinese Navy coming through. Look, I don't mean to sound like a fucking warmonger, military-industrial complex dick sucker. But let's be fucking real here. What are we talking about?
Way of life. Those two nations are in a military alliance with one another, and nobody in either political party is talking about it. So
Husky Canvas, we should let Putin get away with nuclear blackmail when Putin threatens nuclear weapons like he does every single month. We should let him do that. Do you possibly see a flaw in that logic, letting an authoritarian who's okay with using his military to invade other countries, threaten nuclear weapons, and succeed with that threat? Do you think there's some kind of logical conclusion to that kind of thinking that maybe you're missing?
Of all, our engagement in Ukraine is further driving Russia into China's arms. So my foreign policy centers on weakening that alliance. That advances American interests.
But you would let Putin have parts of Ukraine.
That is how we actually
Glad you agree,
secure
Husky.
peace.
But you would let Putin have parts of Ukraine.
Freeze the current lines. I would freeze the current lines of control, and that would leave parts of the.
That's not what Putin wants. Putin actually wants territory that he hasn't successfully conquered yet. He wants all of Donbass. He wants all of Kherson. He wants to keep Crimea. So already Putin vehemently disagrees with you, Vivek. What are you going to do about that, buddy? Already you're in total disagreement with Putin. I'm going to freeze the lines as they are right now. Whatever Russia has successfully captured. Oh, no, we're not doing that. I want all of it, says Putin. Come back to me when you have a better plan for your own defeatism, Vivek.
Donbass region with Russia. I would also further make a commitment that NATO will not admit Ukraine to NATO. But there are even greater wins that I will get for the United States in return.
Yeah, that sounds like a big fat win for Putin.
No, our goal should not be for Putin to lose. Our goal should be for America to win. That's what we have forgotten in this country, is that.
Thank you for that clarification. It didn't feel like 20 was right, but it didn't feel like. I mean, Clutch Cargo, do you think the U.S. Navy has anything to worry about the Chinese Navy? I will say 50 destroyers, that's a hefty amount. 50 destroyers, that's a hefty amount. By the way, YouTube, if you're confused, read the comment above my head here. Clutch Cargo pointing out the military capabilities of the Chinese Navy. China has a lot of small, weak ships like frigates. Not right now. All right. So do you think Vivek is at all accurate in his assessment of the Chinese Navy's capabilities? That we should be shaping geopolitical policy around the fear of the Chinese Navy doing something drastic, right? That should be part of our calculus in the geopolitical world.
Driving Russia into the ground is not a U.S. strategic goal. A U.S.
Okay. Like I said, if this guy was the lefty, I would almost agree with him in some places, right? Yeah, let's be more let's have more scrutiny around NATO, and yeah, the
ground is not a U.S.
Maybe it shouldn't be U.S. policy to destroy Russia economically. Maybe. I mean, honest. Okay. I mean, beyond all the bullshit, he doesn't believe in any of this. Of course, it's just a strategy. It's just a political, he's like, oh, maybe I'll try this angle with Ukraine, and maybe it'll, put my name in the news. Is this going to work on a ultra MAGA, or even a regular MAGA, or just a regular Republican who, maybe doesn't like Trump, but he's going to vote for Trump because he's definitely not going to vote a Democrat. But if he had Ron DeSantis, he'd vote for Ron DeSantis. Is this message resonating with them? Oh, I want to vote that Vivek. He wants to let Putin win. He wants to give Putin everything he wants and let him win the war. Yeah, that's a good idea. I agree. We should let Putin win. Let him win the war. I don't know. I think even the right wingers that are like pretending to care about military spending now with Ukraine, isn't that cute? Right wingers. Oh, we spend so much money on the military helping out Ukraine. Oh, all of a sudden, right wingers care about military spending, guys. Isn't that adorable? Is this gonna work on them? I think this is gonna go fucking nowhere, dude. I think this strategy is not gonna do anything for him. I think we should let Putin win. Can I have your vote? Not really. Because you know what a Republican wants to hear? Thank you for following Husky Canvas. But you know what a Republican wants to hear? We're not going to give money to Ukraine, and we're still going to magically win. We're still going to magically win, but we're going to do it on a discount. We're not going to have to spend any money anymore. That's what a Republican wants to hear, and that's what Donald Trump would tell a Republican, right? Oh, I got the magic solution. We're going to stop. We're going to stop giving money to Ukraine. I'm going to have a quick discussion with Putin. Wrap it up in an afternoon. That's what Trump says. Something to that ilk, right? You're gonna be the victors, and you're not gonna pay any money doing it. I'm gonna build a wall, and Mexico's gonna pay for it. Yeah, what? Prove me wrong. That's what Republicans want to hear. All right, there you go, YouTube. That's my fascist update. We're gonna jump into our final segment of the day, Ukraine. So look forward to that on the YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. Who am I kidding? 114 subscribers. You're not even watching this. All right, goodbye.